Hi everyone, welcome back to another SimplePlanes video, and in this video, I'll be showing you all the progress updates on things that I've been working on over the last few weeks, and believe me, there are quite a lot of updates. So, let's get started. So the builds that I've been working on, or started working on, are this truck. I call it the Convoy Catch Remake, and I'll explain more about that in a bit. There's also the SWL10, and even though I finished that, with some new features, I've actually done a little bit of updates to it. So I've given it some new landing gear, and I've done a few updates in the cockpit. And the SWL20, there's a lot of stuff with that, and as you can see, there are a few more controls in the overhead panel, and there are a lot of more features in here. And then the other SWL20 parts as well, like the nose, there's a few more things here, like this door. And I've also started working on the SWL70, and it is, I think, Cessna 172, but slightly different. That's pretty much what this plane is, and I've tried to make it, it's basically like a Cessna 172, but I just want to make it slightly different so I don't have to worry about trying to make it like the original. Then I haven't done anything on this. This is the SWL-DT. It's basically going to be a truck or something. I'm probably not going to finish this, actually. And then there's also the SWL-Raptor. The only things in here are actually just these doors. So I'll just go and show you that. And I'm still not sure if I'm going to finish this, but like I probably will, but not right now. And we have these doors, nose door, and the rear doors. Then there's also the canopy, which is going to have a slight revision if I ever decide to work on this plane. Like, there's nothing in here at all. It's pretty much just a 3D model with a few features. So we'll start at the top of this list with the Convoy Catcher remake. So the Convoy Catcher is a truck that can catch, like, it's not a real thing, it's just something in SimplePlanes, so I made it. So see these trucks here, so these are convoy trucks, and I'm just going to drive up to them. So what this truck does is it pretty much catches them so you can move them around or do whatever you want with them. And there are at least one of these. It was over a year ago, and it was well received by the community. And I decided that with all the new updates and new features that I know, I decided that I'd make a new one, like a complete new one, that fixed any bugs from the last one, and just added a few new features. Although blowing up the bull bar is something that I did not design. Anyway, I'll probably need to fix that, so I'm just going to restart now. I'm also going to get this trailer in here. So I'm just going to show you what I mean by catching a truck. So I'm just going to fast forward now. So step one is to wait for this line of trucks here to go to this corner, because this is an older, so this is a mod that adds these trucks in. There's trucks in the game that are on the other island, but there's no trucks on this island, except the ones that the mod adds in. And with the new update, because the model was never updated with the update, these trucks now flip over, well, some of them do. They flip over here, and then just stop, like they just get disabled, so I can do whatever I want with them. So as you can see here, the trucks drive over this taxiway, and then some of them go, but most of them hop up into the air, flip over, and then just fall down. I'm just going to fast forward again. And then when the dust clears, you can see that these ones are disabled, meaning they don't drive, and they're pretty much just a 3D model I can just flip over and do whatever I want with. And this truck has a variety of features for what I call manipulating the convoy trucks. Like this is what I call a truck flipper, and it uses magnets to latch onto the truck in a way, and then just flip it over. And I'm probably a bit too close to the truck, so I'm just gonna do that. There we go, and it's flipped up, and I'm just gonna drag it out. And then I can hide this flipper now, and now that it's upright and disabled, I can now load it onto the truck itself by extending what I call the truck lift, or I've renamed it the convoy lift. And then I just back up, and then align the truck lift to the lift over the convoy truck like this, enable its magnets, but something from the last model is when I pull this up, the truck would flip back like my truck. That's That's why we named it the convoy lift, because all the confusion it caused with me. So anyway, my truck flipped back lifting up the convoy truck, and to combat this bug, well not really bug, just a thing that happens, I designed, I'm not sure what to call them, but I'm pretty sure they're called lift arms or something, I have no idea. Support legs, I think. And basically, they prevent most of the issue that was caused by the truck all the way at the back, causing this truck to flip out. And I can just disable them when the truck is loaded onto my truck, the convoy, confusion, I don't know. And then, having one truck is great, but what if you could pull another two with you? And that's why I made this trailer. The original model did have this trailer, but I made it after I uploaded the original truck, which is fine. But I decided that I'd also have a trailer that goes with this one, and this trailer also has a few of its own features. One of the problems with the original trailer, and I should probably have started by showing you the original model, I'll probably do that. So one of the problems with the original model's trailer is when you had the truck and you're trying to load it on the trailer, there was no equipment on the trailer or on the truck to move the convoy truck onto the trailer. So what I had to do is I just had to speed up and then use the velocity to just make the convoy truck just roll back into the trailer at speed. So I sped up and it was really inconvenient. So I just accelerated, opened all the doors, released the magnets, and the truck would just roll into the trailer. But now, I'm just gonna connect to the trailer, and then once I'm straightened up, and also, I'd like to point out, the original truck used only activation groups, like, let's say, group 6 or 7, basically. It used all of them. But now, this one uses a combination of buttons to control some of the obvious ones, or just like, sort of like just features. Like, let's say, this door here. Or to open some of the flippers, or activate certain things, like the small things. It enabled me to add a lot of small, just like bells and whistles that enhance the experience, but it really that required by the truck. Like the main purpose is to just move a truck around, just load it up, drive it around. But I added just a few small little things that just make it more fun or something. Like I have a winch that you can use to just pull the truck back, or there's also a winch at the back, here. Those were on the original truck, and they're only possible. It's only possible to have all of these different features because of variables and buttons. So I have a button to lower this ramp. And then the way this works is instead of just speeding up, what I do is I first and there's no real way to stop the movement of mass causing everything to move. So I just extend this truck back, release it, retract this truck lift. A convoy lift. Actually, I don't even need to speed up there. And then so once this truck's in the trailer, I can then switch control not like that. I also have to disable this one here. So then I'm controlling this lift here. That's not what's meant to happen. Yeah, so it's this weird issue anyway. Oh, here we go. Nope. Now it's working. Anyway, so what you could be able to do, or should be able to do, and I shouldn't have to do that, I've never had to do this before, works fine for like the zillion times I test it before filming, and then when I go to film this video, everything just stops working. So what you should be able to do is use this truck lift on the trailer to pick up this truck and move it around, and this trailer has the capacity of 2 trucks. Anyway, so that's the Convoy Catcher, or the remake version of it. Then we have the SWL-10. So what I've done with this plane, pretty much, is I've just added a new landing gear. Well, not added, but just changed the landing gear, because I'm currently on a beta version of the game, and there's some new landing gears that's been added, like just some new models of landing gear. It's the same part, but just different models. And then in the cockpit, it's better to show this in the game. Right, so in here, you'll notice that a lot of these are dim. And in the last video, I'm not sure what video that is, but in the last video showing this plane, you would have noticed that everything was on, like some of this stuff is on, but a lot of this overhead stuff is not. That's on, anyway. So, I've been using something I did on the SWL-120's cockpit, on the SWL-10, and that's to have, like let's say a label, where you can turn on or off in a way, the emission. Sort of like how you can turn on and off the backlight. So I'm just going to turn on some things. So the overhead panel, that's And also we can zoom in now anyway. So in here, in this square, you can see a lot of the text is dim. And then when I turn on the overhead panel, it's all on. And the same goes for front panel, here you go. And something I came across when trying to do this for every single system in the plane is I can't really easily do that for dials, because I could sort of do it by swapping out the parts, and that's how I do it with the labels. I have 2 parts, but I can't really do that with dials because just of how it works. I'd have to use pistons to move in and out dials, and it wouldn't look the same and it wouldn't be right. Like, it's too many parts. And that's why I'm going to choose to build like more modern planes now if I want to have a cockpit with like digital screens instead of a bunch of dials. And a screen is either black, like off, or on, displaying a lot of information. So a screen will be easier to work with than having to do a dial that you could turn on and off the backlight for. So there's that, and then there's also just these wheels. That's pretty much it for the SWL10. I'm not even going to fly it, because there's nothing else to show. SWL72, that's another one of just the things I've been working on. There was no interior at all. It's like the SWL Raptor at this point, but the SWL Raptor can't fly. Like, this one can fly. I'm just going to take it for a flight. And this is my first plane ever to have custom airfoils that I can make completely using vanilla parts. Like the SWL20's wings, they use mods, but this is completely vanilla. There's no mods in here at all. And there's only 3 parts in this entire front wing. So this plane, as of now, is just a plane we can just throttle up. There's no controls or anything really, just throttle up and then pitch roll, and then that's pretty much it. Basic flight controls, and then it has landing gear. But of course I am going to add a fully functional cockpit to this one, as well as some lights and other exterior details. And I think I need to fix that roll thing, but I think it flies quite well. And the landing's also fine. And also something I found with the custom wheels is they brake really hard, like too hard, especially with the smaller ones. That's because of something called brake torque. And I set the brake torque on the nose wheel to none, or 0, just because you have to fast forward. And then I set the ones on the rear wheels to a very low number. For the prop pitch here, that's fixed pitch, not automatic. And the Cessna 172's pitch is 50. Like I'm trying to base this off the Cessna for basic flight characteristics, but especially in the interior bit, I'm using the Cessna for inspiration or SimplePlanes, but I'm not going to copy it exactly. I just want to have fun making a fictional plane that's very detailed. Then that's it for the SWL70, and now on to the SWL20. This is the SWL20, the SWL120. So this one has the most updates of them all, and I'm just going to put this overhead panel because I have it in what I call building now, but when I want to test it, well, not really test it, but when I want to just have the sort of incomplete cockpit experience, I just actually put it back inside the plane. And the SWL120 will use 3 mods. Why am I flying? This plane cannot fly. The SWL120, I'm probably going to say 20 a lot. The SWL120 will have 3 mods: the variable wing mod for the wings, the jet engine mod for the engines, and there's also this 3rd mod which it's called tone generator, and you can make custom tones. And I think I might try and make an ice cream truck, like the ice cream truck music, with that, as well as an ice cream truck to go along with that. Anyway, so electrics, and every single system in this plane can be turned on and off, as well as the backlit of the panels. And eventually, when this is all complete, all these will do something. But the fuel, I haven't done anything with that. All I can do is just import to its own variable. And yeah, every single one of these is gonna have something. It's gonna do something. So as you can see, the overhead panel turns on this backlight, and then Dome L and Dome R. So I just copied a lot of stuff from the Boeing 787, but not exactly. Basically dome lights, there's 2 of them, I think. They're pretty much just like overhead lights, just big lights. Like it's like a light in a room or something. And then these are just some other lights. They're gonna do things eventually, but there's nothing down here to illuminate, as you can see. But everything's gonna be here. And also something I forgot to mention is for a lot of my planes now, for the paint scheme, I have all the colors in an order, like white, black, and then the 3 shades of grey, and then like the smooth bit, like the very smooth, reflective, shiny paint, and then a few colors I need for each plane, like green or something, or some red. And then everything I'm not using is just red. And it looks a little neater to me, even though it doesn't mean anything, but anyway. And there's this throttle, I'm pretty sure I showed this before. And also, with the new updates, they made it so you can, well, hopefully after they fix some bugs with it, they made it so you can interact with what's called a control grip, which means you can manipulate a lot of the new parts, like the yoke or the joystick and some levers. And just so you can interact with these switches, which is really helpful and really useful. The switches were also added with the new update, like one of the previous big updates. So basically what I want to have is so you can drag individual throttles, or you can control them as one. But it's going to be really cool. It's going to be like a real flight simulator. And I've showed this before, videos. I might change this, but not for it now. And also with the engine start dials, I made it so they instead of looping back to off, they just can't go past a value of, I think, 2. Yeah, it's 2. So they just can't go past the value of 2. When they go to 3, like it's for a single physics tick, I added some code that resets them to 2. Same thing as they can't go back past 0 2. And then it's gonna be like a real plane. If you it's gonna start simple, on off, press button to start it, and then all of these just controls all lights in here, and they control whatever the tooltip says. They all do something. I'm not gonna go over every single one. And also back here, I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm gonna try to. Here's a good view of that. So it says cabin lights, and then have fasten seat belts, no smoking. Like these are the 2 indicators, and I'm not gonna have the indicators in the cabin because there's too many parts. First class lights and economy lights. Just a few different things, because there's obviously more than that, but there's some things even I'm not going to put in this plane. And then also, with the tone generator mod, I can do this. So it's like the real tone. I just had to do it, because I saw the potential. I was just browsing mods, and I noticed that mod, and I just knew the potential. I had to do it. And also, I can use this mod to make the ice cream truck music, like the song. And there's also the same thing for no smoking and smoking. No smoking and fasten seat belts do the same thing. They have the ding dong when you turn them on, and then the simple dong when you turn them off. And then these are just lights. And yeah, that's it for this cockpit. But this is not everything. This is just the cockpit. I've done a few other things too. So first of all, we have the nose, and also you'll see, I think I did this in the last video, anyway. And also here's that paint thing I was talking about. So this is all red, and then there's everything in, like, it just looks a little neater than just messed up all around these 2 rows. And you also noticed that I've added the new landing gear. And also, I can't really show this now because I've taken everything apart. But if I were to put the 2 landing gears together, this plane's main gear and the nose gear, you'll see the nose gear retracts faster than the main gear. And I got some new codes for this, some funky trees. And it just means that the nose gear, because it's smaller, like a nose gear in a real plane retracts faster than the main gear, well normally it does. And I just made that in this plane because it just didn't make sense for the nose gear to take so long to. It was like 11 seconds, it just didn't make sense to take that long to retract. And there's also these doors. They took me way too long, I'm not sure why. And they work off buttons and this small code. They work because they're all mechanical, so like they're mechanical in real life. I think they are. So they don't need any controls in the cockpit to be turned on or set to something so that to open. So they function by themselves independently. Pretty simple. Handle swivels, door opens, and then the reverse when they close. And each door opens individually. Just a cool little thing I added. Because this plane's going to have, well, mostly, a full detailed interior. And then that's the nose. And also the nose may look like it has a cockpit, but there's nothing in here. This is actually the cockpit. Why is that like that? This is actually the cockpit from before I added details to it. It's not even an overhead panel. Because the cockpit interior is absolutely by itself for ease of access to build it. And then the wings, I don't think, just this landing gear here that has the new model, and that is it. And there's also the tail, and I'm not sure if you can tell it here, but I added these new windows, so they slant back with the tail, because the tail starts actually sloping in from the main fuselage's width and height, which is 8, and then at the back of this fuselage, you can see it's actually a little less, and I made these windows just slope in with the tail. And again, these control surfaces, actually I think the tail, I'll just show you. So I did a tiny bit of work with that tail, not much, but the rudder now moves like that. So there's that, and that's actually it for this video. It was just gonna be a little bit of progress updates, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!